Welcome back, everyone, to the Humans in Space Virtual Finalist Selection, day number 2. I'm David Lee, and I will be the moderator for tonight as we hear the live pitches of our Humans in Space semifinalists as they battle for the finalist spot of the challenge. Before we begin, I would just like to extend our deepest gratitude on behalf of the Humans in Space team and Moria for your continued support and interest in the Humans in Space initiative, including the challenge and the symposium that is set to happen on October in Vegas. In the span of just a year, the Humans in Space Challenge, formerly known as the Care Space Challenge, has evolved from a forward-thinking concept into a vibrant, living entity. This remarkable journey owes its success to the unwavering support from all our esteemed partners, including the wonderful panel of judges that you will see today, as well as the dedicated participants who are actively breathing life into the challenge. The Humans in Space ecosystem owes its existence to you, and we are deeply privileged to have all of you here this morning. Before we start with the main event, I would like to introduce you to our wonderful panel of judges who are going to be sharing their insights and expertise today and evaluating the startup semifinalists of the Humans in Space Virtual Finalist Selection. First off, we have Ariel Blah. Ariel is one of our most valued partners of Humans in Space as a founder and CEO of AIAA Institute, co-host of Humans in Space. She also founded and directed the MIT Space Exploration Initiative at MIT Media Lab. Up next, we have Danielle Delat. Danielle is the co-founder and COO at AIAA Institute and a solid expertise in aerospace engineering and space architecture. Up next, we have Dr. Soyeon Yi. Dr. Yi is the first and only person from South Korea to have traveled to space. Dr. Yi spent about 11 days in space, and she is here today to share her experience and insights, as well as evaluate your innovative products and services for space. Up next, we have Dr. Sawyer. Dr. Sawyer has more than 2 decades of experience in the development and evaluation of health technologies, telemedicine, and remote medical management. She is also the director of UC Space Health and the director of the UCSF Skeletal Health Service and the UCSF Department of Orthopedic Surgery. Next, we have Dr. Doko Kim. Dr. Kim is the professor at the Department of Biomedical Engineering at Johns Hopkins University. His research spans the disciplinary boundaries between nanotechnology, biomaterials, and mechanobiology, with an emphasis on applications to tissue engineering and regenerative medicine. Up next, we have Asaf Wise. Asaf is the Chief Technology Officer at Earth and Beyond Ventures, Israel, and he has more than 30 years of experience in high-end research and developing highly innovative custom systems. Last but not least, we have Anjali Gupta. Anjali is a space entrepreneur and startup advisor at Berkeley Skydeck, and a former pharmaceutical drug discovery scientist and a digital health innovator. Now that I've told you about our amazing panel of judges, all of you know that you're in good hands for the evaluation process. These amazing people, as well as the Humans in Space evaluating team that is not on screen right now, will be carefully evaluating your pitches this morning. All right, I hope everyone is ready for the main event today, the startup pitches. Again, just a reminder for the startups, you have 3 minutes to pitch your idea to the judges. Then we're going to be swiftly moving to the 2-minute Q&A session. Judges, if you have any questions for the startups, remember to use the raise hand feature on Zoom, and I will moderate you into the question. Okay, I think we're just about ready to get started here. I just wanted to introduce the first 5 startups in the lineup today. Predictive Metabolomics, Paprika Labs, BrainSpace, Splendo Health, and Biobank Healing, as these companies will address the monitoring and diagnostics of the human healthcare journey in space. All right, let's get started with the first company of the event, Predictive Metabolomics. Predictive Metabolomics creates metabolic analyzers based on high-performance liquid chromatography that offers non-invasive tracking of human health using urine, sweat, and feces for health monitoring in both space and Earth. The company's founder and CEO, Konstantin Saichev, will be coming up on stage to share his idea. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Konstantin to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Just one second. I'll find the clicker. Yeah, so I see the clicker. So, hello, everyone. Thank you, David. It's really a great privilege to open up the event. Thank you. So let it be started. In the Martian way, Asimov identified two successive stages in the development of what we now call the new space. In short, it's about building up a leading economy of the interplanetary world, but it can be achieved only through focusing on space self-sufficiency. Space self-sufficiency is a great risk reducer. It literally opens up the doors to secure investments in space. But what steps towards space self-sufficiency are done today? Space tourism and the colonization of the moon are the two main drivers, exactly as Heinlein foresaw. But what he missed, or whether the main problem would not be technology but people. Space tourists are not real astronauts. They have non-ideal health. And all health-related risks should be carefully estimated, health status should be real-time monitored, and this is what we aim at in reducing those risks, making them tolerable and controllable. There is a good and actually not novel idea on how to detect not one, but many diseases simultaneously. The idea is to control a standard set of metabolites and bodily fluids which relate to each other in some particular ratios which are quite stable at least when a person is healthy. And when not, they begin to alter, which can be detected as some specific metabolic signatures. The current implementation involves costly equipment, toxic chemicals, need for expert chemists. We're developing the next gen analyzer, which has much better performance and reliability than similarly priced devices of competitors, and it can work in space. We aim to identify cancers, diabetes, mental, cardiovascular, and other chronic diseases. The device can also be used to reduce the cost and duration of clinical research and trials and drug discovery. Its social impact will be unparalleled, since every individual on Earth will encounter it during periodic medical examination. The revenue source is B2B sales of analyzers. Customers are pharma and biotech companies and clinical labs. Aerospace applications include monitoring of cognitive operational performance, cardiovascular function, resilience to stress, and effects of radiation on the body. All data should be stored and processed using AI by some appropriate service like Data Lake by AWS. The same approach can be used in the accreditation and pre-flight testing of civil and military pilots. The ultimate goal is using this technology in real space hospitals built on the orbit or on the moon. Medical tourism in space was also predicted by Asimov. For sure, it's more convenient to transplant the heart printed in microgravity, also in microgravity. Yes, you'll need to bring ill people to the orbit, but it's a technical task, and continuous health monitoring is one of the technologies that are necessary for that. Furthermore, wouldn't it be simpler to produce protein-based medications entirely on the moon and then use them to treat patients in lunar hospitals? Lunar industry will be based on biomanufacturing, but conventional biotech is not suitable for that. We need a closed cycle platform that will deal with varying inputs, and such technology doesn't yet exist. I also mentioned that our bioreactors.
We're going to have to cut you off right there. That was an amazing pitch. Thank you for your pitch. I know it was a lot of pressure being the first pitch of today, but I can tell you right now, you did an amazing job. Now the floor will be open to the judges to ask questions to Constantine. Judges, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Yes, Dr. Sawyer, did you have a question?
Can you tell us any more specifics about your acquisition plan for the samples and your processing plan in flight?
This technology doesn't apply any sample preparation. When we're talking about, for example, urine analyzer, so the only technical task will be just inject the urine, untreated urine, into this device, and that's it, basically. So in our plans also is to develop a special analyzer, not just for urine, but also any other non-invasive applications. For example, saliva, sweat analyzer, and analyzer of feces is also important. It's open up the understanding of processes that occur in stomach, microbiome, and nutrition, adequate nutrition in space. So that's it. Yeah, and Anjali? Yeah.
Hi, great. Thanks for the presentation.
Hi.
Could you tell us a little bit about what stage in development your technology is?
Yeah, sure. We're at the first stage. We have a prototype. It's a version number 1 of urine analyzer. We can now determine 5 substances in 40 minutes. 5 substances in untreated urine as ketoglutarate, urinate, hiprate, oxalate, and creatinine. And our next analyzer will analyze 25 different metabolites. Now 5, the next version will determine 25.
All right, thank you, Constantine, for your pitch again. That was wonderful.
Thank you, David.
We're going to be moving on to our next pitch of the day. Up next, we have a company from South Korea, Paprika Lab. Paprika Lab is a startup specializing in researching and developing wearable radiation measuring devices. They develop wearable dosimeters that are soft contact lenses worn in the eye and flexible patches attached to the skin. Please welcome Jung-In Kim, the CEO of the company, as he comes to the stage to pitch his product.
얼굴이 안 보이는데. Hello, let's start. Hello, I am Jung Kim, founder, developer of Paprika Lab. Our company is a Korean startup specializing in radiation detector and radiation therapy product. We are honored to introduce our product in this challenge. There are various radiation sources, higher exposure level in space. Sorry. There is some pages skipped, so I start. According to ICRP, radiation work have limit 50 millisievert and general population limit is 1 millisievert annually. Flight attendant and astronaut has higher limit due to space exposure. So our mission is to protect the spatial radiation with a precise wearable dosimeter with accurate measurement. Our source include 2 key products: smart cloth for lens, smart barcode for skin dosimetry. Both dosimeter transfer data to application, mobile application for tracking and data analysis. And our core technology used perovskite for radiation sensor and solar cell. They are thinner and more flexible, efficient, and resistant to radiation. Regarding business, we target first Earth radiation measurement tech market and space near Earth orbit. Our marketing begin with medical and industrial works. Our milestone include completing field test in 2024, product launch in 2025, and dosimeter for space launch in 2027. Our goal, $90 million revenue in 5 years. We've secured funding for Earth test, but need more for global expansion and space testing. Our B2B and B2G business model serve hospital, power plant, and global governmental entities. We sell dosimeter and offer subscription service. As is seen on the table, compared to existing dosimeter, our wearable dosimeter provides better accuracy, real-time measurement, and user convenience without extra readout devices. Our team is composed experts in radiation medicine, medical physics, dosimetry, and material. Additionally, we are establishing an advice group with a professional organization to spin off our dosimeter into space personal dosimeter. Finally, our dosimeter has been supported by the government and venture capital and hold patent and published research paper, and also collaborate with the global research team. As someone mentioned before, I believe space industry and our company at the moment only beginning. Thank you for listening.
All right, thank you, Jung-In. What a fascinating product. Also, thank you for your wonderful pitch. Thank you for joining us despite the harsh schedule of the event. I know it's getting pretty late here in Korea. But all right, I think we're ready to move on to the Q&A session. We can see Asaf has a question for you.
Can you?
Asaf, your mic is off right now. Please turn on your mic.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you for the presentation. It was very nice. Could you please elaborate why is the sensor located in the eye?
Yeah, and the radiation protection, the lens is very sensitive organ, so we have to measure deliver the dose to directly to lens, because the important is the lens is very sensitive organ. So ICRP and IAEA focused on the lens dose.
It cannot be sensed anywhere else in the body?
Lens is very most sensitive organ. Another organ also important. So we have another type of dosimeter, kind of the patch type. If we want to interest the organ, we have to patch type the dosimeter under the interest the organ. So we can expect the deliver to the interest the organ also.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Sawyer, did you have a question in mind?
Yeah, I did. Thank you so much. Have you done validation? I see you're going to do validation in 2024 in hospital settings. It seems like an obvious place to start. There are only certain types of radiation that we get exposed to there, ionizing versus the galactic cosmic radiation. Is your device going to be able to pick up different types of radiation than we're exposed to terrestrially?
Yeah. As you know, in the medical field also various radiations also, mostly we use the X-ray and charged particle and electron. But as I know, the proton is dominant in the space, so we can test also the proton beam, because proton beam also use the medical therapy. So next year we will test it with the proton beam for the space atmosphere.
All right, thank you, Jungin, again for your wonderful pitch. We're going to move on to the next pitch, which is the third pitch of today. BrainSpace. BrainSpace is a company that builds AI-based data collection gear and analysis software to monitor and diagnose brain disease. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Amir Hadani, the co-founder and CMO of BrainSpace, to the stage.
Hey, I hope I'm getting a little bit of echo, but I hope it's okay. Thank you. It's a real honor to present for you. So we are BrainSpace. We are developing AI tools using brain data for personalized mental health treatments and offer accurate diagnostics and digital healthcare for both people on Earth and off Earth. So we all know brain monitoring is a real challenge. There are different ways to attack it. We know fMRI and MRI are not really available. There are different EEG that try to get the resolution, but we have issues with the accurate way of dawning. Signal quality is always a big issue. We have operator variability, atomic variability, functional variability, and definitely putting something on in space is hard. Eventually, there is not a real way to do data synthesization to create big data to actually create good AI models. So we are here to solve that. We've developed this platform that it's a whole inclusive solution, starting off with the platform, the Brain Sensei, equipped with 115 dry sensors, delivering clinical grade EEG with 2 proprietary patents. First one is auto-dawning. It auto-dawns itself, so you just put it on and it does everything that we need. I have a little movie here that I don't know if it work actually. Unfortunately,
with the Brain Sensei headgear, BrainSpace has developed the first ever auto-donning system. By eliminating the need for manual placement by an expert technician, this groundbreaking technology automatically and comfortably calibrates the sensors to each user's head to ensure a high-quality signal-to-noise ratio with minimal setup time.
Okay, so we're optimizing quality to
with the Brain
actual comfort. The other patent that we developed is the Brain GPS, where we're trying to actually map functional regions like the motor cortex, visual cortex, sensory cortex, and auditory cortex in actual personalized to the actual functional regions that are different in each person. Following the brain sensitive platform, we have the brain data cloud, and then we go to our own proprietary algorithm to data and standardize them and actually build AI models on big data. And we've done this. We already been to space in Axiom 1. We've delivered our prototype, and 3 astronauts have did our first experiment. We did collections of during the mission, and post mission. We got some nice results, and found out, that basically the posterior rhythm, which is index, is not affected by a short microgravity on the ISS. Our next step is to validate this, to find out if the exposure lengths measure much, and then to put our own cognitive load AI models and see if we can predict the performance of the astronauts and their competence on the mission. Don't have enough time to talk about the market, but we know that diagnostic solution is a huge market with billions of dollars, both in therapeutic and diagnostics. We are focusing on psychiatry and neurology, where the TAM is 23.
Thank you, Amir, for your presentation. I know we don't have much time, but that was a great presentation. We're going to get moving into the Q&A session of the pitch. Judges, if you have any questions for Amir, now's the time. Dr. Soyan, did you have a question for Amir?
Yeah, I just wonder, as the person who might use that kind of helmet style, and then how heavy it is, and then how long, and then what kind of process of to wear, and then how often, and then how long the period of the wearing time during the day.
Awesome question. So obviously, if we're talking about, obviously we can do it on Earth and in the ISS, or different space missions, but basically we're talking about monitoring that you can get if you put it, the dawning takes about 30 seconds, and then usually we're asking to do resting state and a cognitive task, which takes about up to 5 minutes, and we get the data and we get mental health. So we can do it as many times as we want through the day. Usually we try to do once daily to get a mental health. Obviously, we're also focusing on dosing of drugs. So if an astronaut or anyone taking a specific drug, we actually want to see the effect of that drug and are we giving him the right dose or not.
Can you let us know the mass or weight of that helmet?
So the current prototype is 1.2 kilos. And we have found out that you can wear it up to 60 minutes without any significant discomfort. But like I said, usually up to 20 minutes is more than enough to get all the data you need.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question, Dr. Sawyer.
Can you give us any more specifics about conditions rather than just saying mental health or health, that you have validated correlations between things you're measuring and conditions and changes in those conditions?
Perfect. So our current clinical trials, the first one is working on cognitive load, and that's our main focus. And we're doing it both on civilians as well as in the defense. And we've also applied it in one mission. So cognitive load is number one. Number two is depression that we're doing a clinical trial on. And the third one currently is we're running on PTSD soldiers. But again, we are deploying different clinical trials in order to map out all the mental health conditions eventually. So right now, these are the current.
Could you say number two again? Because you cut out at that point.
Oh, I'm sorry. Number two is depression.
Oh, depression.
Depression. Number three is PTSD. Currently on the map is cognitive decline. So but the clinical trials are now being deployed.
Okay, thank you, Amir, again for your presentation. Good luck throughout the challenge. We'll see you. All right, we're just getting warmed up here at the Humans in Space Virtual Finalist Selection. Startup Pitch Day. Let's move on to our fourth company of today, Splendo Health. Splendo Health aims to improve cardiorespiratory function through VO2 assessment, which consists of high-resolution wireless sensor and AI model. Please welcome Eric Sanchez, CEO of Splendo Health, as he pitches his idea.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're good to go. We hear you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Sanchez, CEO of U.S. Operations for Splendo Health. We are a Duke University startup with Dutch American roots. Our team is made up of seasoned entrepreneurs, software developers, physiologists, and cardiologists. To date, we are self-funded. It's not clicking. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. To date, we are self-funded and generating revenue, specifically within the performance sector. We're also looking for a lead investor at 1 million to help us close our seed round of 3.5 million. Now, the reason we're all here today is because space travel for you, me, the masses, non-trained individuals is becoming more and more realistic, a reality that opens up a Pandora's box of physiological challenges. So how do we meet these challenges? Well, that's where Splendo Health can help. Our remote VO2 max assessment platform is designed to work alongside a multitude of health and fitness solutions. Now, why VO2? What is it? What is it good for? How do you get it? Well, VO2 max is the gold standard biomarker for your physiology with 30 plus years of clinical research. It assesses how your heart, your lungs, and your muscle consume oxygen under strain or stress. Insights that can help you better define your health, your fitness, and your longevity. So how do you get a VO2 max assessment? Well, it's complicated. Legacy infrastructure requires a dedicated lab or hospital, stationary equipment, trained personnel, and time. The solution? Splendo Health. Our AI platform aggregates and calculates raw data in real time from select wearable devices to make VO2 max assessments accessible, affordable, and efficient. We've also developed two methodologies, a 6-minute incremental step test and a 1-minute all-out air bike test. Our solution is supporting the development of the largest VO2 max dataset, a dataset that can help us curate and define actionable metrics and recommendations. Metrics and recommendations that have already attracted clients and partners within the performance sector, as well as pilots and R&D within healthcare. Now, we know that future space industries will require the masses. Splendo Health's proven solution and methodologies is designed to work alongside space-related health and fitness solutions. Our SaaS is also adaptable, and we've removed the necessary legacy competitive infrastructure. Sorry about that. There we go. Sorry about the clicking there. So we're asking you to join us either by investing, partnering, or both as we support our goal to help you, me, the masses, non-trained individuals go to space. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Eric, for the outstanding pitch. We're going to go right ahead and move on to the Q&A session. Judges, if you have any questions for Eric, now's the time to ask. Yes, Dr. Sawyer.
Thank you. I have a question if no one else is ready. I wanted to ask you, have you done a due diligence grid competitive landscape? There are a couple other companies in this arena that are making wearable human performance labs such as yours. And I just wondered if you had any comparisons you could make, how yours is distinct from theirs.
Yeah, so currently there's the stationary, as mentioned, the AIAAs and so forth that are already using it in a dedicated lab or hospital. We've taken it out of the hospital. So our value prop is that we're actually using 3 different sensors, actually even more, to give you one result. So oxygen, metabolic heart, also heart rate, and muscle O2. So our whole thing is we can take multiple sensors instead of just one dedicated sensor and give you an end result, starting with VO2 max. Yes.
Is there any? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Is there any? Yeah. So, is there any specific reason that you just emphasize a non-trained personnel who will go to the space, because it's kind of universally applied for all the people who might be in a different environment or something?
Correct. So we're focused on the performance center. This way gives us a broad spectrum. Both we have in the first responders, professional athletes, as well as just your average population. That'll give us a better understanding. And then we're going automatically to the medical as well. So we're doing pilots across that board to get a better understanding how the earthbound population works. And then ideally partner with a couple of space groups and start testing it with, in zero gravity and so forth.
All right, we'll have one more question, Danielle.
This is about those populations you might test with in zero gravity. Have you considered doing parabolic flights? You only get 30 seconds, but
Yes.
if you've got the 1 minute, you might be close.
We'd love to, yeah, any introductions would be greatly appreciated. Right now, we don't have any real introductions to the parabolic or zero gravity. So we would love to start testing in that area.
All right, thank you, Eric, again for your pitch. Good luck around the rest of the challenge. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
One last pitch before we had a special guest come in, but he had some technical difficulties. So we're going to skip over him for now and give him a chance to re-log in later on. So before we move on to the next group of startups, we wanted to take the time to invite one of our 2022 Caring Space Challenge winners, Deep Space Biology. DSB aims to accelerate the scientific discovery of unknown and unseen biological relationships that may aid or hinder human space exploration through YODA, basically the Google for space research. We want to invite Montana Bilger to the stage to talk about his journey and experience with the Caring Space, now Humans in Space Challenge, and how it has helped him further develop his idea and company. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce you to Montana Bilger, founder and CEO of Deep Space Biology.
Hello, everyone. I'm Montana Bilger, co-founder and CEO of Deep Space Biology. As a winner and participant in last year's Caring Space Challenge, I'm honored to share more about the impact of the program. Deep Space Biology is a company that bridges the fascinating realms of space biology and artificial intelligence. We've built a state-of-the-art AI platform, YODA, that transforms complex biology data from space and Earth to accelerate groundbreaking health discoveries. Now, why is this important in the context of space exploration? Space is not just a vast expanse. It's a laboratory that can teach us about the fundamentals of life, health, and disease. We're here to decode that knowledge to help humans here on Earth and those who travel in space. Being part of the Humans in Space initiative has been transformative. This collaboration has deepened our understanding and appreciation of the delicate balance between human health and the cosmos. It constantly reminds us that every single discovery we make is not just about pushing the boundaries of technology, but enhancing human lives. Since participating in the program last year, the trajectory of our business has changed monumentally. We've discovered novel disease targets with our YODA platform through a collaboration with the Mayo Clinic, and we're launching our YODA platform on NASA Gene Lab's website and to the rest of the world. Reflecting on our journey, winning the CIS challenge was only the beginning. We've achieved milestones that have positioned us as pioneers in the integration of AI in space biology. However, our aspirations stretch far beyond what we've accomplished. Our future vision? To enable every researcher on this planet to delve deeper into the effects of space to catalyze health discoveries so that diseases that plague humanity today are a thing of the past. Our involvement in the Humans in Space ecosystem remains crucial in realizing this dream. In partnership with Boryung and all of you here, we're not just aiming to touch the stars, but to understand and harness their potential. Thank you for your continued belief in our mission and the exciting journey of exploration and discovery that lies ahead. Congratulations to all the semifinalists and finalists. Keep shooting for the stars. Thank you.
Yeah, a funny story about Montana. Deep Space Biology and Boryung has been in partnership for almost a year now. And just recently I found out that Montana and I have some very close mutual friends. Obviously, those friends went on to share how smart and kind Montana is, and I think that just goes to show how small the world is sometimes. Anyway, thank you for Montana for sharing your experience with the Care in Space Challenge. It's a privilege to have you as a Humans in Space family, and we're thankful for our partnership and collaboration. I'm confident that your message was heartwarming to the 2023 semifinalists of the Humans in Space Challenge. Okay, folks, the biobank healing just logged back in. So we're going to invite Won-Suk Lee to do the pitches. Biobank Healing is a company that develops all-in-one cartridge and analysis device that monitors the gut microbiome of space travelers with just 1 gram of stool sample. Let's invite Dong-Ho Lee, the CEO of the company, to hear about his idea. Ladies and gentlemen, Dong-Ho Lee.
Hello, my name is John Lee. I'm CEO of Biobank Healing. Our mission is 1 gram of stool sample to check the severe pathogen and health condition to save the journey to space. The major problem occurs with spatial and environmental change, which combines with gut microbiome change as well. So why the microbiome change is important, how serious, and why space? From the NASA Human Research Roadmap, it states the risk of adverse health effects due to host microbiome interactions, which states that changing microbiome which reduce the immune system, which makes the infectious disease for human in space, but it also possibly makes the crew members disease infection as well. The market size of global market size is growing very rapidly, and also the metagenomic sequencing market size is very rapidly growing as well. So we are founded in Seoul National University Bundang Hospital. We are very clinically oriented company. We have 63 patents with R&D technology, and we have more than 2,000 combined clinical data. And we have more than 13 R&D partners all over the world. And we have raised $2.3 million USD for pre-series A, and we have $1.8 million US for government grants as well. So what we are different from our competitors. So first, everyone can use our device and cartridge. It's very easy to use. And also the time is very short. So all the metagenomic device is, it takes several days. And also the device price is very competitive. And also the accuracy is very high because most of the device, you need a lab and researcher to, and we don't need a researcher. So you need you can have a constant output. And also 1 sample cartridge is available. And also all-in-one solution is possible. Whereas other companies, you need at least 2 or 3 devices to make the outcomes. And also the size and weight is very compact and portable, which is suitable for space. And also we are the only one who is aiming for R&D plans for space. So our business model is very simple, is selling and renting health monitoring device, and also selling our unique cartridge. For space, I don't think other companies can compete with us because there's no lab in space. We have very powerful team with a CEO Dong-Ho Lee, Dr. Dong-Ho Lee, and also we have our co-founder with 2 CTOs, Dr. Sang-Yoon Kim and Dr. Young-Soo Park. We have 30 years of clinical research. And also for me, I'm in charge of business development and funding and marketing. So we have a strong business and technology so we can make the innovations. We're at the prototype stage and moving on to the pilot stage. And our overall R&D plan is trying to increase the number of specific microbiome strains with a severe biomarker. And we are trying to increase the speed of the analytic time and also
Thank you, Dong-Ho, for the wonderful pitch. Time is up, fortunately, but thank you regardless. That was a wonderful pitch, and we're going to be moving on to the Q&A session. I can see Asaf has a question right now. So Asaf?
Yeah, hello. Thank you for your pitch. Thank you very much. What technology are you using, and how can you overcome the amount of germs you can pick during such a small sample, during such a short duration of measurement?
Thank you for your great question. For the specific strain, I think is the key point of our successive product development. So for the metagenomic analysis, its whole genomic sequence takes a whole lot of time, but we don't know every single strain with a specific function. But we chose the Akkermansia and Faecalibacterium is very close related to the immune function. And also Fusobacterium and Staphylococcus is the two strain is a pathogen, which is very close related with the adverse effect of human in space. So we chose the four strains because it's that strain is very close, the most strains that related, the specific strains related in space. And also the small amount of stool is, I think all the metagenomic sequencing, 1 gram is enough to pull the DNA sequencing. So I think 1 gram is every device is enough for 1 gram. Yes.
Yeah, within 1 gram, I agree there is a lot, but usually I'm aware of, and I might be wrong, that there is a requirement for enrichment of the amount of germs. What have you managed to do to reduce the time compared to other competitors?
Okay. For our cartridge, we put the robot, it's very small robot, and we have in cartridge, we have 4 rooms. For example, for the Illumina, for example, you need 1 machine to pull the extraction of the DNAs and 1 machine to do the quality control for the other machine, and other ones for you need to put the primers to put it into the DNA, and before you put it into the actual DNA sequencing machine. But for our cartridge, have a 4 room, which is 1 room you put the DNA extraction and put it into the other room for the quality control and put the primers on, and then from the 2nd room to 3rd room, you can put the amplicon. You can amplify the DNA sequencing. So in 1 cartridge, we put 3 machines together. Is that kind of explanation? You can understand?
Yeah, I understand. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you once off for your pitch. Due to time restraints, we're gonna have to move on to the next pitch, but thank you for your pitch. Good luck to you as well. We'll see you later on. Sorry guys about the technical difficulties. We ran into some unforeseen technical difficulties and we had to call one step back into the Zoom call. But we're going to get moving into the next batch of pitches, which is going to be Avatar Medic, Neurosciences, Magnosis, and Lambda Vision. These companies have been addressing the prevention, assistance, and the treatment aspect of the human healthcare journey in space. And I'm very excited to see what they have to offer. All right, getting into our 6th pitch of the day, Avatar Medic. Avatar Medic offer real-time remote relief of austere, isolated, and confined environments through their extended reality software, which integrates spatial computing to provide many different kinds of benefits. Please welcome Susan Jewell, the CEO of the company, to the stage as she will pitch your product.
Hello, everybody, and thank you. I am Susan Jewell, CEO of Avatar Medic, and we are Holo Triage, creating first response medical XR sim training for remote real-time medical relief, taking disaster medicine training out into space and for austere environments. How do you move? Oh, there you go. All right, so obviously there is no emergency medicine training in space for astronauts right now, as well as austere environments here on Earth. So our solution is using holoportation concept technology, and NASA already successfully holoported a surgeon medical students to the ISS last year. So the beginning of telemedicine in space. And what we're excited is that our Holo Triage is a integrated system on a mobile platform as well as a web VR tablet. And we're able to expand it's a portable simulation training. It's obviously a cost effective. It's an integration of technology developed right now on HoloLens 2. We'll integrate AI and haptics and telepresence avatars. We have a product right now, and we've developed several training modules focused on first aid and basic life support and advanced life support system. And obviously, this is very cost effective, increased flexibility of training, massively scalable. We have a single multi-victim triage scenarios that we can curate. And right now we've validated, prototyped, and with our partners with MRs in our analog astronautic training, in high fidelity space medics training, and we'll launch our MVP later next year in 2024. We are a SaaS model. We've created a whole library of basic modules. These are expandable, personalizable, and we will target obviously commercial space, Axiom, and government space sector first, so B2B, and then eventually B2C, doing a consumer product on the App Store. This is a subscription and premium-based cost model. This is a huge market right now, $120 billion just in the space and aerospace sector. And for us, we're very much focused on disaster emergency medicine training for space and austere environments, including in integrating AI and avatars. And we have a massive traction. We have pre-seed funding. We are applying for a provision patent. We have DoD grants for medical XR training. We're expanding our testing with high fidelity training missions with MRs in the underwater habitat next year, and then up to Everest Base Camp and Arctic Antarctica. This is our amazing team. We're interdisciplinary, intercultural, and we are pioneers, innovators, scientists, and researchers in the field of medicine and medical XR training simulations, specifically as well in analog astronautic training in remote environments. And you can see we're a women-owned company. My co-founder is my daughter, so we are a mother-daughter company of Holo Triage and Avatar Medic. So we are Holo Triage, and we are developing XR simulation training for space as well as remote areas here on Earth. Thank you so much. Open for questions.
All right, thank you, Susan, for the wonderful pitch. Avatar Medic was actually a Bounty semi-finalist of the 2022 Care in Space Challenge, and it's amazing to see all the progress they have made in just over a year. All right, judges, it's your time to ask questions. If anybody has questions, yes, Dr. Sawyer.
Yes, thank you for that great presentation. Thank you also for the diversity on your team. It was really great representation. I wanted to ask two questions. One is, do you have plans for any in-time guidance, clinical decision support, et cetera, rather than just training? And then the other is, do you have capability for closed loop entirely on board use of these modules, because there will be asynchronous communication for some of the travel that's planned? Thank you.
I love your question. Yes, absolutely. We are working with integrating the AI. Obviously, that will be the autonomous capability to personalize the training for both assessment and evaluation, both for the trainees and trainers. And the goal at the end of the day is, you know, when we go into deep space or onto a planet surface and we don't have connection with mission control, this is where the AI component training integration into the platform is critical, right? So it will be independent, autonomous, basically the future of concept of the HAL, you know, Space Odyssey, where you don't need to rely on mission control on Earth to be able to train, to be able to get knowledge, and to reskill and upskill as well as definitely the integration of cybersecurity, because we're using medical data and we want to make sure that that is secured, and the fidelity and security of data or transmission medical data is kept private, secure, and confidential. So I think that those are areas that we have been working on in different projects that we will definitely bring into this project.
Thank you for that. I just want to clarify the question. Part of it was answered very nicely. I wanted to say, are you also talking about building something that would be in time clinical decision support for a real scenario? Because that requires a whole different type of validation.
Yes, yes. So we are very heavily focused in actually tele-avatar presence, right? That's not just as the holographic what we call teleportation of these holographic images. Is actually tele-avatar presence. So bringing in, using haptics, of course, using the technology integration, being able to bring in a real-time person, right? There's the humanoid sensorium into that real setting, not their physical presence, if you see what I mean. So I think that's where these integration of these technology allow this sort of humanoid sensorium of a telepresence avatar, surgeon or doctor, to be there in real time with that with the astronauts, or wherever it is in the battlefield with the combat medics, to be able to interact with them, communicate with them, and even to, you know, to help them to do that protocol. So this is kind of the other projects that we're working on, but this is definitely the technologies that we've been really solving and bringing into to this platform as well eventually, and including telerobotics is another area that we've been working on as well with our teams. Hopefully that answers the question.
For the wonderful pitch.
Thank you, David.
You know, good luck to you for the rest of the challenge. Oh, we'll see you soon. All right, next on the list is Neursantes. Neursantes is a pioneer of the development of non-invasive bioelectronics, medical devices with access to people with balance impairments. Please welcome CEO John Ralston for his pitch.
I'm seeing slides from Holo Triage here, sorry. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is John Ralston, CEO and co-founder at Neursantes. We're delivering innovative bioelectronic treatments for neuromotor conditions that have no widely available pharmacological alternatives. Our first market is age-related balance decline, which affects our entire aging population, including 35% of adults over the age of 40, making it increasingly difficult to continue living actively and independently. That's 78 million people in Canada and the US alone, with an economic impact approaching $300 billion. The human balance system develops through complex neuroplastic learning processes that continue well into our teenage years and then begin to decline again after the age of 40. This decline is triggered by age-related changes in the vestibular balance organs in your inner ear, which in turn disrupt the entire balance system and are also linked to cognitive decline. But the only solution available today to restore disrupted balance is an experimental high-risk vestibular implant. And balance decline can also be accelerated by diseases, by head trauma, and by prolonged exposure to microgravity, which presents a fundamental medical challenge for all human activities in space. Our flagship product, Nervesta, is the first bioelectronics platform for the treatment of balance decline caused by multiple conditions. Our proprietary machine learning discovery and treatment protocols for age-related balance decline utilize very low-level, non-invasive electrical stimulation of the vestibular system. And the treatment only requires 3 20-minute sessions per week for 6 weeks to deliver large and persistent neuroplastic restoration of balance in populations from 50 to 90 years of age. These treatments can be administered in clinic or at home by medical assistants with minimal training, and eventually by patients themselves at home and astronauts in space to proactively restore disrupted balance functions and to slow the cognitive decline. We're now preparing to begin delivery of our commercial platform as a service solution by the end of this year, with our highly profitable revenue sharing business model, securing an 8% share of our serviceable addressable market represents a $1 billion annual revenue opportunity. On the competitive front, no other easy-to-use solution has been shown to restore balance mobility and reduce fall risks over a wide age range with no adverse side effects. We've now raised $3 million from investors and non-dilutive R&D grants, graduated from the MHub MedTech Accelerator in Chicago, completed product development and live on-site pilot deployments with senior living partners. Our key collaborators for space-based applications include the Canadian Space Agency, who've awarded us $380,000 in deep space healthcare challenge grants, and the Mayo Clinic Aerospace Medicine and Vestibular Research Lab, with a parallel investment from the Mayo Clinic Ventures. Our commercial roadmap highlights opportunities for both rapid and profitable revenue growth and significant investor returns. And finally, the company's led by an accomplished and multidisciplinary team and advisory board with multiple industry partners supporting our key commercial initiatives, both here on Earth and in space. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, John, for the eye-opening pitch. I believe you're addressing a very important problem for crewed spaceflight, and it was exciting to hear about your product. Okay, we're going to move on to the Q&A session. Judges, the floor is all yours. I see Angelique's hand is up. Angelique.
Great talk. Thank you for sharing that. You mentioned Parkinson's disease. Can you tell us a little bit about your testing with Parkinson's patients and what you found?
So we've developed a proprietary a wearable balance assessment technology that we utilize on the discovery front end. It actually lets us map out the whole balance system performance and any impairments. So we can see performance impairments of all the sensory inputs, the central neural processing of those inputs, and the generation of motor control outputs. So in addition to what we call normal healthy aging, we now have data sets for multiple sclerosis patients, Parkinson's patients, patients exposed to chronic head impact exposure. And in all cases, we can map out the unique impairment profile for each patient. That allows us then to begin applying wider ranges of bioelectronic stimulation. And we can actually see, because it's a wearable device, the patient's unique response in real time as the bioelectronic stimulation is applied, which is key to personalizing treatments, both at the beginning, at the outset, as well as potentially tuning the treatment throughout the recovery process.
Just a really quick follow-up. Are you then doing characterization studies, or are you actually delivering a therapeutic, or sorry, a treatment?
We're doing both. So with the older population, we've now developed the standard treatment protocol, which we've shown to be effective. Basically, anyone 50 to 90 years of age, we will see some decline, small, in some cases very large, tune the treatment and restore most of that disrupted balance function. So it is a combination of discovery and treatment.
Thank you.
All right, due to time constraints, we're going to have to move on to the next pitch. Thank you, John, again, for your presentation. Good luck, and we'll see you around. Next, we're going to move on to Magnosis. Magnosis develops a headset that measures EEG and brain impedance and applies electrical current to the scalp, which aims to simultaneously diagnose and treat dementia and depression. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Soon-Hyuk Lee, the founder and CEO of the company, as he shares his product with you.
Where is the click button? Okay. Okay, I'm Soon-Hyuk Lee, founder and CTO of Magnosis. We made Alzheimer's disease diagnosing device with brain impedance technique with world's best accuracy. With this technology, we will make intracranial blood pressure monitoring device for human in space. When you travel in space, you are in microgravity environment. As a result, your brain will be in trouble, such as Alzheimer's disease, blood pressure, and vision impairment by swelling. So the first step to solve this problem is monitoring ICP. Our technology provides a two-in-one solution, diagnosis and treatment in one device. For the diagnosis, EEG and brain impedance are used, and for the treatment, transcranial electrical stimulation is used. Our product care Alzheimer's disease, depression, and cognition. Therefore, we can easily upgrade our product to measure ICP in space. Using the brain impedance method, we can estimate ICP in 3 steps. First, measure brain impedance at 2 points, that is measuring blood volume. Then calculate time difference between 2 impedance pulses. Finally, we can obtain ICP, which is related to the time difference. Our target is the special tourism market. It will grow to over $8 billion by 2030. But if we include the Alzheimer's disease and depression market on Earth, it will be $80 billion in 2030. Our business model is selling products by B2B and B2C. For the ICP development, the main cost is clinical trials in microgravity environment. For the first year after development, we provide our product for free of charge to gain reliability and then sell them to the space organizations, private companies, and individuals. In 4 years, the expected revenue will be $5 billion. In microgravity environment, body fluid circulation is a big problem. Our competitors couldn't solve this problem, but we can, because brain impedance is an active measurement related to blood volume. This is our secret sauce. For the diagnosis of the Alzheimer's disease, we obtained over 95% accuracy in clinical trials for the domestic patent, 1 registered and 5 pending internationally, 1 applied in USA, Europe, and China, and 3 PhDs. We are in prototype stage preparing KFDA certification, and we are in pre-Series A stage. Our product group is the monitoring and relieving brain problems in space. We will scale up to the other type of dementia and automatic diagnosis of a brain injury, both in space and on Earth. We have 2 advisors in Korea and States, including medical doctor and 1 clinical psychologist. I have 25 years of experience in developing many medical devices, such as EEG, EKG, laser, optics, and X-rays. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing about your innovative products, Sung-hyun. I'm sure that the judges found your products to be interesting as well. We'll see if they have any questions for you. Judges, the floor is open for questions. I think our Humans in Space evaluation team has a question for you, Sung-hyun. Can you explain more on your competitive edge and what is it that makes your company special compared to other competitors?
Actually, there's no competitors now because measuring ICP in microgravity environment is very difficult. So there are some companies which can measure ICP in on Earth environment, but I think there's no other companies to measure ICP in space in microgravity situations. So our secret sauce is by using brain impedance method. It's a kind of active sensing method, which is very strong in against the environment. So we can a little less affected by the microgravity condition as compared to other methods such as pressure sensor, which is a passive sensor, so it's very affected by the microgravity environment and other environment. That's our very secret sauce.
All right, thank you. I think Dr. Sawyer has one more question for you. Dr. Sawyer.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry if I missed this, but I was curious about the sensitivity, specificity of the changes that you can pick up on in comparison to the direct measurement of an intracranial pressure monitoring device in the ICU with our head injury patients. Have you validated against that?
The ICP measurement? No, we haven't any tried clinical trial for the ICP measurement. We have the newly developed for the ICP measurement. We only have a clinical trial for the Alzheimer's disease. Is that your question?
Yes, I was just wondering if you had validated this against the gold standard, which we use in hospital, which is direct measurement with a bolt, is what we call it.
Yeah. We have not yet a clinical trial for this. We have to newly develop.
Okay, thank you again, Sung-hyun, for your wonderful presentation. We're going to be moving on to the next pitch. Let's quickly get into our last pitch before our keynote speech from our value partner of Humans in Space. Lambda Vision is developing the first protein-based artificial retina to restore meaningful vision for patients who are experiencing advanced retinal degenerative diseases. Please welcome Nicole Wagner, President and CEO, to the stage.
Not sure what's happening here. How do I have the remote?
You're going to be able to find the slide controls at the bottom left.
Oh, sorry. All right. Well, thank you very much for having me today. My name is Nicole Wagner, and I am the president and CEO of Lambda Vision. Lambda Vision is a University of Connecticut spinoff company that is developing a protein-based artificial retina to restore vision to the millions of patients that are blinded by end-stage retinal degenerative diseases. Diseases like macular degeneration and retinitis pigmentosa. Now, while there are some treatments available for these diseases, most of these treatments only slow the progression of the disease, and patients are going blind. So what you'll see here on the left-hand side is a picture of our founder, Bob Burge, and on the right-hand side is the current standard of care. This technology was being reimbursed by Medicare for over $150,000 per eye, and it barely offers enough vision for low digitalized resolution, and it's just not good enough. Lambda Vision solution is a small, simple, flexible implant that can be placed in the back of the eye through a surgical procedure similar to a retinal detachment procedure. It increases the adoption potential of the technology. Our technology is intended to provide high-resolution functional vision to these patients, and it will replace the damaged rods and cones of the eye. We will start by targeting the initial orphan indication of retinitis pigmentosa first and follow on to the much larger market of macular degeneration. We're going to start with the US and European markets. That's about 200,000 retinitis pigmentosa patients. Look at just those patients that are blinded by the disease. So that's about 20,000 RP patients. Now, if you assume a reimbursement of $100,000 per eye, that's over $4 billion for retinitis pigmentosa alone. Now, we are going to need to work very closely with large eye institutions in the US and Europe. And we do look at a potential exit as a acquisition by a large ophthalmic or biotech strategic. Our development plan, right now we're focusing on process optimization and assay development. Over the next couple of years, we will focus on our preclinical development, which is going to be critical to support IND studies, and then a phase 1 clinical trial in the beginning of 2027. Why microgravity? So the way that we manufacture this artificial retina is through a process called layer by layer electrostatic deposition. This process is affected by things like sedimentation, homogeneity, evaporation, convection, and that all leads to the implant integrity. So in a gravity environment, we have a very limited area that we can use for our preclinical and clinical trials. So to date, we've secured over $7 million in contract funds from NASA and ISS National Labs. We've flown 8 missions to the International Space Station, where we have generated multiple thin films, 200-layer thin films in microgravity with good automation. All of the work that we've done in microgravity can be applied to other applications. So you can see a list of them here, both using bacteriorhodopsin and other applications beyond the artificial retina. We have a very qualified team to be able to do this. Both myself and Jordan have been involved with the company since inception, and we have a board of directors that has helped to move this technology forward. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Nicole, for the amazing presentation. I truly think that this is a very important and innovative idea. Judges, if you have any questions for Nicole, you have 2 minutes. Yes, Dr. Sawyer.
I'm happy to defer if someone else wants to go first. First of all, thank you. My father suffered macular degeneration and changed his entire quality of life. This is important. What I'm curious about, though, is what does the implant do? I didn't quite get that. I can see that you're surgically implanting something, but what does it do? What does it communicate with? What function does it serve?
Right. So in macular degeneration and retinitis pigmentosa, your light sensing cells or your rods and cones, they start to die. So your eyes become incapable of taking light energy and converting it into a signal that can be sent to the optic nerve in the brain. What our protein is, it's a light activated protein. that protein is coated onto a scaffold. So now that protein and scaffold sits where those damaged cells would exist. And in response to light, the protein is going to absorb light, pump protons towards your bipolar and ganglion cells, which are picked up by receptors that eventually will send the signal to the optic nerve into the brain.
Thank you. That's very helpful. It's basically what I would call a synthetic graft that's serving a function or replacing a function. That's really wonderful. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Sawyer. Dr. Soyan, did you have a question?
Yeah, as far as I understand, and you would love to manufacturing your things on the space because sedimentation is a problem. And how long does it take? And then actually, based on your presentation, it's kind of like a prototyping or a certain step of that. And then how many steps do you need to test it to make a final product in space?
So right now we have flown 8 missions to the International Space Station, where we have developed, at this point, I think it's 6 200-layer thin films in microgravity that would eventually, they're manufactured in sheets. Those sheets then get resized, and those could be tested preclinically. So I think where we are now in terms of the design process, we have good automation. We intend to continue to fly additional experiments to the ISS, really looking at scale now, improving how we can, get more than just the limited number that we have right now in microgravity for future applications. And then everything that we're learning right now, in addition to what we're doing for the artificial retina, things like good manufacturing practices, because this is one of the very first times that something is being manufactured in the ISS that has clinical benefit to patients on Earth. So we're spending a lot of time thinking about what that chain of custody is going to look like moving forward, and how to get really good control. And so that's just taking multiple flights in order to also get a good sense of the environmental controls that we're looking at as well.
Yeah, one short question on top of that. And then you, as far as I understand, you want to make a kind of big sheet of the layers, and then you want to cut it out and then making several of them on the ground, right?
Right. So we would actually manufacture them on the ISS. Once it comes down, we then take, separate our thin films out, and then we would resize and package those for preclinical or clinical trials.
Okay, once again, thank you, Nicole, for your beautiful presentation. Good luck throughout the rest of the challenge. We'll see you. All right, folks, that's going to be the first half of our Humans in Space virtual finalist selection, Startup Pitch Day. We're going to take a short break from the pitches as we invite a valuable partner of ours. She is an amazing person. She has been supporting the Humans in Space initiative with her experience and expertise since the 2022 Care in Space initiative. And she promises to be an influence to all the participants of the Humans in Space Challenge. Today, she will take the spotlight to talk about her experiences of an astronaut and give you her insights about the necessary innovations and technological developments that astronauts need for space travel. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to introduce you to Dr. Soyan Yi, the first astronaut of South Korea to deliver her keynote speech.
Hello, everyone. So nice to meet you. And then it was incredible pitch, and then I learned a lot. And then I kind of thinking about, am I deserve to have a presentation in front of all those kind of incredible people? Because yeah, it's an incredible idea. And then let me share. Can I share my screen? I didn't plan to do that, but if it's possible, I just want to show several folders. Okay, thank you very much. Can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah, it was already 15 years ago. I was in ISS for 11 days with my scientific experiments. So I did try, several of you already tried in a space station, and then bring some protein and then bring some chemistry and then kind of like that. But today I don't want to talk about all those kind of boring experiment. I would love to talk about some kind of comparison. So left side is my Soyuz rocket, and then I just go up in the elevator, and then on top of the Soyuz rocket, and then blast to the space. And then right side is a SpaceX launch pad, and then it's pretty much similar. Only different thing is kind of hallway from the elevator to the rocket. It makes more like a movie, like walking with the helmets and kind of like that. So actually launch pad is not that huge difference, but thinking about the interior. So left side is my Soyuz capsule to go up to the space. Only 15 years ago, you have all those kind of mechanical buttons and then small little displays. And then we need even some small stick like a gun and to push the button when we have a go far behind with a seat belt. But look at to the right screens, and then there's a huge touch screens and big, huge displays, and even using the iPad-like things, pad on the heads, doesn't have to have a kind of stupid stick on the screen, and then it's just a 15 years difference. And sometimes I feel like I'm really old, even if I'm just a mid-40, because around the 50, 60 years of a human spaceflight history from the 1960 until early 2000, we shared all of the things the same. So I have a lot of common with my senior astronaut who flew 50 years ago, but I don't have that many comments with the astronaut who flew right now with the high technology spacecraft like this. What I want to say is, it is the incredible time and then really beautiful time to develop all different and then interesting technology for the space flight and then human in space, like his program. Because when we had just several players and only government driven, and then we didn't have that much innovative technology identified, not because of we are not that smart, but because we have a limited kind of environment. But thanks to have a space era, new space comes up, and especially recent 10, 20 years, as you can see, a lot different kinds of things happen, and all the diverse players and all different kind of country. Yeah, frankly speaking, 20, 30 years ago, I cannot even imagine that Korean company can make a space entrepreneurship and then startup kind of like that, because we believe only NASA can do, or only Roscosmos, or only Chinese Space Agency can do that, because it requires a crazy a lot of the money. But nowadays, all different sector of the space is coming up, and all different small countries and then small startups, and then every single sectors, and then size scales up, and then all different industry and field is all work together to make it happen. So that's a beautiful era. That's because I love to be joined this kind of pitch or competition, because I can learn all different kind of thing. I think all judges might agree with me, because even if we learned about space, we've been in space field for a long time. Every time we come to this place, and then totally interesting ideas comes up, and then that makes me so excited. I still remember, it's a kind of metaphor of that, and a very interesting timing like that. And then around the 20 years ago, when I served for the Korean food, and then when we make a Korean barbecue, I use the Caesar in the kitchen to cut the beef. All my Western friends are freak out. Oh my God, you use the Caesar? It's the office stuff. It's not a kitchen stuff. So how can you use that? And they just look at me totally awkward. But after 20 years in my MBA program, and then I served the Korean barbecue in same place in California, and then served the Korean barbecue, and then cut the meat with the kitchen. All my classmates told me, oh my God, such a creative and smart Korean people. You guys are using smart Caesar rather than the stupid knife, and it needs so fast. Even if it's same Caesar, their kind of recognition and then react is totally different. I think it's the same. Nowadays, every single people can bring the all kind of outside of the box idea, and then they just realize the real meanings and a real kind of value rather than just the appearance and rather than just the branding of the country. So I think it's your time. And then I'm so looking forward to see next year and then another next year to have all different kinds of exciting ideas. And then good luck for all these competitors. And then you guys all deserve to be the finalists, but only limited seat is the matter. So yeah, go for it and then shooting the star. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Dr. Soyan, for your amazing speech. Every time I hear an astronaut speak, I just sit back and try to imagine what it might be to actually be in space one day and possibly look down on Earth. I think it's a very special experience that only a few people get to have. But I believe that eventually, especially through all the efforts of the semifinalists here today, that experience will soon be open to many other people. So thank you once again, Dr. Soyan, for your insights and sharing of your valuable experience and the sharing of the story of the scissors. Again, we are lucky to have you as one of the Humans in Space family, and I'm sure that everyone else here feels the same way. So thank you. All right, folks, we're going to get again and start with the next group of startups. Up next, we have AIAA Space, Extremo Technologies, Mannequin Robotics, and Lumen Bioscience. These startups will address the in-space lifestyle aspect of the challenge, as they will bring up ideas about how to make humans a spacefaring species. I'd like to introduce you to REA first. REA specializes in designing clothing and protective tools for humans in space, focusing on developing the EMSI countermeasure suit to counteract the effects of microgravity on astronauts' health. Please welcome Roberto Bustamaccia, the CEO of the company, as he shares his story and products.
Thank you, David. I'm just trying to have a look on where the, okay. Okay, so thank you. So this is space. We all want to travel up there, but to do so, we have to understand how the environments affect our body. There is no gravity here, and day by day, the skeleton deteriorates, muscle go through atrophy, and cardiovascular systems slow down. So far, more than 600 humans have experienced microgravity conditions, and come back to Earth like Samantha. That's why REA created and patented MC, the first intravehicular suit designed to interact with postural muscle and counteract the effects of microgravity. The suit is a system made of an advanced fabric with antibacterial properties and low hysteresis characteristic designed to guarantee differential compression on the body. Sensors, which are embedded in the fabric to monitor and collect body parameters, electrodes that provide biphasic electrostimulation to muscle. The entire above are managed through software properly adjusted with astronauts' data and a dedicated control box which guarantees power source independence for a customized experience. Thanks to the combination of high technology and more than 4 patents, on Earth, MC is capable of mapping and analyzing the muscle working envelope of the astronaut, while in space, it simulates gravity where there's no gravity. This results in stopping bone loss, maintaining muscle tone, and keeping the cardiovascular system working properly. MC has the purpose of mimicking the gravity we have on Earth. We want astronauts to spend less time rehabilitating and more time exploring space. The current market scenario for spacesuits is rising more and more, expecting a CAGR of 35% within 2023, also thanks to the upcoming private and public space programs. We forecast an obtainable market of $100 million within 2030. REA focuses on the design, research, and manufacture of wearable equipment for human in space. As we want to offer customized and high-tech products, the business model will be based on framework agreements to manage both suits and added services. But where are we now? REA was incorporated in February 2022 and already has received support and funding from important space key players. We are now working to test in orbit our suit and collect important feedback for further developments. We plan to develop the suit within 3 stages in order to optimize the system and add on more and more sensor and functionalities. Our stage 1 is ready for space. It is equipped with 8 flexometers and 12 electrodes and connected to an electronic box capable of recording data and deploy stimulus according to astronauts' needs. All the above is possible thanks to a great young multidisciplinary team capable of covering all core disciplines from engineering to medicine. Let's simulate gravity in space together. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Roberto, for the wonderful pitch. I think your concept is very interesting, and I'm sure it's the same way for the judges. We're going to move on to Q&A session. Judges, the floor is open to you. Dr. Sawyer, you have a question?
Yes, so sorry to always go first here, but I just sometimes get very curious. What kind of validation do you have? I run the skeletal health service at UCSF and done a lot of work in muscle rehabilitation as well as bone. I'm really curious about the validation you have that the forces you can apply with 10 stimulation will have any effect on bone. We certainly see some muscle effect to bone in our trunk extension exercises, but it's usually more of an axial loading and a vibratory force rather than just simply muscle pull on bone to be most effective. Any validation studies you can share with us for bone and muscle effect of your therapeutic intervention?
So we started, due to the fact that we started just 1.5 years ago with the startup and the project, we are currently now in a kind of validation within the Italian Air Force, especially with the medics and doctors that face astronauts preparation and pilots preparation. So we started applying the first MVP of the suit, so applying the tense forces to the muscle, and start to collecting data. You have to keep in mind that the first stage that I showed to you needs a preparatory data collection, because we need to do on-ground electromyography. And so thanks to this, we are able to collect data on such a kind of position that we ask the astronaut or the reference or the sample, human sample, let me say, to be performed. And this will be the final validation to do on ground with the help of the Italian Air Force doctors.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I should have said, is there any evidence? And so it doesn't mean your own validation, but is it based on evidence? And if so, I'd love to see the articles.
No, not yet. Currently, we only have evidence on the type of electronics used and how the electrostimulation is applied.
Thank you.
Which is made from the Polytechnic of Bari, so I can provide it to you.
All right, thank you, Roberto, for the wonderful pitch again. Good luck throughout the rest of the challenge. We'll see you around. Right, moving on to our next pitch, IC Space. IC Space offers analog mission-related products and services, analog habitat, spacesuit, training and consultancy, for example, for future exploration. Please welcome Mark Heemskirk, as he will tell you more about his company. All right, folks, taking a little bit of time to get Mark here. Would you please share the screen again? All right, there you go, Mark. Sorry about that. You're good to go.
Dear members of the jury, all, my name is Mark Heemskirk, and I have the honor to present to you the European Space Agency's Business Incubation Center in Czechia. At IC Space, we utilize isolated, confined, extreme environments as a testbed for present and future human space exploration, because that is necessary. Some 400 lunar missions are expected to launch this next decade, greatly intensifying the demand for top-tier research, especially in human performance and its testing in a controlled environment, such as analog missions. Currently, there is a lack of accessibility to developing research at TRL 3 to 7. And this is primarily driven by the fixed and location-bound analog facilities, high logistical costs, and a limited availability where research is often seen as a secondary objective. We present a customer-centered approach through an easily transportable and deployable analog astronaut kit. This encompasses a complete package, including the facility, the equipment, and the expertise needed to run a customized and professional analog mission. The plug-and-play functionality allows it to be highly scalable, while the standardization makes it an affordable solution. It allows us to spark R&D initiatives in every nation eager to take on this final frontier. The spacesuit and habitat market will grow exponentially within the next few years, and it's expected that training suits, habitats, and test locations shall follow suit. IC Space is capable of covering all of these training components. And as it is our ambitious plan to become an industry trendsetter, we expect to be able to access a large portion of this market. Working with research centers, universities, and agencies in several countries that are preparing to support human space exploration and long-term survival in space. Since 2018, we have already had 4 successful analog missions, with 29 completed researches in, amongst others, human well-being, biomonitoring, and microbiology. Successes are also reflected in our existing network. Through our analog missions, we have made numerous collaborators and sponsors and will have our biggest campaign yet next August. That said, we are aware that we are not the only analog space mission provider. Worldwide, there have been bases constructed, but these were always built for one specific environment, vastly limiting their actual capabilities. We offer an end-to-end package and deliver to the environmental or depth requirements of our customer. We have identified two main sources of revenue: renting our analog toolkit and providing analog consulting services. Our clients include established and emerging space agencies, and we help them advance their research or help gain experience in the analog segment by enabling missions with a high scientific return. Other client categories can also benefit from both our toolkit and consultancy, and as such, we have already secured 2 contracts from research groups in Europe and North America. Lastly, our secret sauce, our amazing and highly diverse team of experts. At the moment, we have people from 10 countries to work on our products and services, and we are young, we are versatile, interdisciplinary, and passionate beyond the Kármán line to make human space exploration safer, more efficient, and more approachable for all. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mark, for the presentation. I believe analog mission-related products are a crucial part for future space exploration. Let's see if the judges have any questions. I can see Anjali has her hand up. Anjali?
Mark, thank you for that presentation. Really great job. Couple of questions. Can you tell us a little bit more about your analog astronaut unit? And secondly, are there any non-space Earth applications for this?
Yes, those are great questions. Thanks so much. So the missions that we've been doing this far, we're working with external collaborators, and that's also part of our business model, that we run the research for them inside these ICE kind of environments. And sorry, the second question?
Any non-space Earth applications, or are you particularly going after just the space market?
So personally, I do think space would be the coolest application for it. But there are also a ton of other types of extreme research expeditions taking place, for example, in high mountain ranges or in any types of remote areas. Another part where we can also see another market form, especially within the near future, is with the displacement of people, where we can help, for example, in refugee areas, which once again are usually in remote or hard to reach areas, where we would need to set up a base or a safe haven for these people as quickly and as efficiently as possible.
Dr. Sawyer, did you have a question in mind?
I had a quick question. I didn't see anyone with health or medical expertise on your team, but certainly we'd be very concerned about those things in a space analog and want to make sure there's that coming in. So I apologize if I missed it, but could you speak to that?
So we usually work with these specialists on a per mission basis. So also for example, ethical approval, we have to go, of course, specifically for one research to the one university that is aligned with this research. And as such, we have the medical team also, of course, on the side during any kind of emergency during these simulations. But we see this always as a per mission basis. But it's definitely also a part that as soon as we grow as a company, we want to incorporate within our structure as well.
Right. Thank you, Mark, for your participation once again. Good luck throughout the rest of the challenge. We'll see you around. All right, folks, moving on to our next pitch, Extremo Technologies. Extremo Technologies uses microalgae to support crew space missions through CO2 sequestration and O2 production, cultivated in tailor-made medium design for space conditions. Please welcome Victoria Ziadullah, CEO of the company, as she shares her story and product.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Victoria, and I would like to take you on the journey from space to Earth with Extremo Technologies. Let's imagine that you'd have to hold your breath for 3 minutes, the exact duration of this speech. You can try now, but be careful. This is the maximum duration that people untrained can survive. Therefore, the lack of breathable oxygen in the air is the greatest challenge for humans in space, but also here on Earth. So we have a perfect solution for bioregenerative life support system. We have found unique red volcanic microalgae that produce 7 times more oxygen than cyanobacteria. It's also microtrophic, that means that can survive without and with lights. Gathering all these unique features together, we design solutions that can be implemented both for space and Earth. Our team consists of researchers, architects, engineers that are dedicated to deliver such unique and innovative bio-solution. So we took our microalgae that are resilient, we took the special gel formula, and we created multi-purpose biopanel for the efficient air revitalization. So we did a thorough marketing and competitors analysis, but nobody from our competitors uses this unique species of the microalgae. But the point is to support the life support system, not to replace it. So talking about the business, we plan to have 2 revenue streams, one for the Earth and the second for the space. We aim to deliver the product for individual customers, for business incorporated, for governments, and we also provide a tailor-made design service that address specific customer needs. So we are here now, we are about to launch our pilot project together with our partners, which is one of the biggest banks in Europe. And soon we will hope to test our solution on the ISS, hopefully in May next year, together with the Polish ISS call campaign. So we haven't forgotten about the psychological effect, which is also connected with the human space exploration. Our panels are designed as a human-centered design approach, which connects aesthetics and utility. And you can breathe freely now. So I hope you join our green revolution together with Extremo Technologies. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Victoria, for your pitch. We're going to go right ahead and move on to the Q&A session of your pitch. Judges, if you have any questions, now is the time to ask. I think the Humans in Space team, evaluation team, had a question. For that, Anjali, I think you raised your hand first, so go right ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I think I might have missed this, but could you talk about the footprint of your product as well as the capacity, how much it would generate per unit time, etc.?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, as I said, we have a unique microalgae. It produces more oxygen than cyanobacteria and other solutions. So, for example, for a scale, BIOS-free experiment shows that 80 liters of algae can provide the oxygen for the 1 person. Our system is 7 times better. So a few panels can ensure the breathable oxygen, but as I said, it's not about to replace, but to secure the whole life support system, to mix them together and to ensure that it's just reliable and without any problems. Yes.
I think Asaf, you had a question too.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. Very interesting. Could you please elaborate what is the input of your system? What is the food requirements of that bacteria? And what is the output, except besides oxygen?
Yeah, we choose this strain because it's multi-purpose. So we have some research that this microalgae can be also used for the metal recycling. So the idea to have everything on the place and utilize or resources on site. So the idea is to grow algae as a biosystem and then use it as food for the astronaut and food for the plants. So it's like the multi-purpose idea that we can use our algae.
All right, due to the time schedule, we have to move on to the next pitch. Thank you, Victoria, for the amazing pitch. Good luck, and we'll see you around. Okay, we're heading to our 14th pitch of the day, Mannequin Robotics. Mannequin Robotics specializes in real-time monitoring and detection of airborne pathogens using patent-pending biosensors for effective protection against exposure. Please welcome Vaishnavi, the CEO of the company, as she will pitch her product. Vaishnavi, you're on mute right now. Please unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, hear you.
Great.
I think you're good to go.
Thanks, David. We named our company Mannequin after an exotic bird found in Amazon rainforest. Let me begin with an interesting parallel to help you understand the importance of our mission. Archaeologists from the Exeter University found evidence of an unrecorded smallpox pandemic that swept across a continent, wiping out a civilization in Amazon. We at Mannequin want to prevent such destruction to humankind due to unmonitored pathogen transmission on Earth and during extraterrestrial missions. To do so, Mannequin manufactures next-generation biosensors for real-time accurate pathogen detection to achieve our mission of minimizing the risk of pathogen exposure. Our vision is to be a one-stop shop for pathogen detection needs. The problem are pathogens. They're a formidable threat to public health. They directly affect the astronaut safety, environmental monitoring, and planetary protection. Dr. Jonathan Clerk, a crew surgeon, testified that the pathogen detection is of paramount importance for successful space missions. As pathogens mutate rapidly in microgravity, active monitoring allows us to evolve the cartridges along with the mutations and results in and reduce the risk of forward and backward contamination. Our current detection methodology is not real-time and is a strenuous process. This results in delayed detection, resulting eventually in rapid transmission and complex containment of the pathogens. Our patented solutions are two versions of biosensors that use immunoassays, antigen proteins as portable labs that integrate into real-time point-of-care systems for identifying the pathogens. Our patented product works on our advanced image processing algorithm run on colorimetric images of carbon dots conjugated with antibodies. This results in early detection, leading to easy containment and less expenses. Our product has successfully been validated in detection of all these pathogens by comparing the results from our biosensor to the clinical RT-qPCR techniques. This is our SaaS business model. The biosensors will be sold as a value to the customers. The cartridges and the software will be recurring subscriptions. After talking to over 120 subject matter experts, our research indicates that these 6 industries are highly susceptible to pathogens. Our beachhead use cases are healthcare and poultry, where we have successfully obtained pilot opportunities. The CAGR of 8% is from DataBridge and includes the food and hospital industry. The space economy boom will accelerate the need for pathogens, as most emerging areas include the risk of microbial contamination. These are the strong 6 use cases for Mannequin. And here's a detailed commercialization plan and go-to-market strategy. We are better positioned compared to our competitors, and this is our amazing team with background in NASA, Google, Apple, Cisco, and microbiology. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Vaishnavi. What a great presentation, and we value your efforts of trying to make the lives of both astronauts and people here on Earth better. Hey, judges, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask Vaishnavi. Dr. Sawyer.
Great, thank you very much for that nice presentation. 2 questions. One is consumables are a real problem in space, especially looking at long duration missions. Maybe you could speak to that, a plan to be able to reuse some of the cartridges perhaps. And then also, does your system run fecal samples?
That is a great question. So we have been doing research on the SAMS instrument, where they do have a capability to reuse the cartridges that they use for lab-based detection. And though we don't have a solution right now, that is something that we see ourselves doing in the future, which are like reusable cartridges and reusable swabs as well for fecal samples. As of now, like we do collect physical specimens, but it's all nasal, but in the future, fecal as well. Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions for Vaishnavi? I think the Humans in Space evaluation team had a question for you. Can you explain more on how up to today how your funds were used and what are some of the categories that you were focusing more on for your startup?
That sounds great. So most of the funds went towards product development and validation. As you know, something like this, like the data needs to speak for our product. And we've thoroughly tested our product and verified it and tested it in various laboratories and also real-time testing. So like I already spoke about in the slides, we have multiple opportunities at different use cases for pilots. And we've been like spending our money on developing the products for our multiple pilot opportunities.
Right, thank you very much for your answer, Vaishnavi. Thank you for your participation. Sorry, I think Danielle had one more question. Danielle.
Sure.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. Could you speak a little bit about how your sensor will need to change in the space microgravity environment?
That's a great question. So the only change will be in the way that we collect and embed the specimen into the device. So given that the product was first developed for space and then we moved to the on-Earth applications post-COVID. So most of the research was for the space applications. So we did a thorough research on the SAMS instrument, and the way we embed the specimen will just change in microgravity, but everything remains the same.
Thank you, Vaishnavi, for your participation. Good luck. We'll see you soon. All right, folks, we're moving on to the 15th pitch before we invite another special speaker, Lumen Bioscience. Lumen Bioscience plans to produce genetically engineered spirulina to provide on-demand biomedicines, protein nutrition, and remediation of environment for long-term space exploration. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to introduce you to Cole Krieger, Vice President of Business Development, as he will share his product.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity today to represent Lumen Bioscience as we talk about how we believe that we have solutions for you. Let me change the slide here. Looking to the future is the ethos of Lumen. One part of that is looking internally at how do we solve human diseases. We also look to the stars, like many of you. If we as a species are to accomplish long-term space exploration and colonization, we require a sustainable supply of oxygen, food, and healthcare. In the minds of experts, the single most important solution for long-term space flight is a renewable source of biomedicines, nutrition, and environmental remediation. By using spirulina's Lumen spirulina, we can achieve these goals. Spirulina is an algae superfood safe enough to buy in the supermarket and eat every single day. Lumen has been the pioneering force in genetically modified spirulina. We are the only Earthling company with the rights, ownership, and capabilities to create this solution. The premier journal, Nature Biotechnology, highlighted the impressiveness of Lumen spirulina and our ability to produce drugs in a recently published paper where they emphasized the need for this and giving us the groundbreaking cover. Spirulina is a very simple organism with water, CO2, and some nutrients such as nitrogen from recycled human waste. We can produce oxygen and edible therapeutics for space-based disorders. Here you see our small-scale reactors, which we would like to test in space. Algae has been grown in space, and our Lumen spirulina should thrive in this environment. Spirulina is a perfect production engine for all sorts of different therapeutics, from pain to cardiovascular to vision issues, and specifically zero gravity disorders such as renal diseases. With a simple upload from space or from a database, we're able to produce this in just a matter of days, where it is then easily ingested with little processing. Lumen has raised over $150 million to date. We have a very experienced team with decades of experience. We have partnerships with major pharmaceutical companies, major DoD sources, and different partners, and more than 30 patents to date. We are set to disrupt the on-Earth pharmaceutical market at over $400 billion. We have a number of products that are already in late-stage clinical trial, where they will be the most effective on the market, and we have a very large market to pursue there. Thank you for the opportunity to present Lumen Bioscience and the technologies that we have. Best of luck to all the other competitors, and thank you to the judges.
All right, what a fantastic pitch. Cole, your pitch was great. We're going to go straight into the Q&A session, see if the judges have any questions for you. Judges, the floor is open to you. Yes, Dr. Sawyer.
I'm curious as to what conditions do you have evidence for that spirulina is either a cure or a deterrent, or even augments other types of therapies. I know there's quite a bit of work done on this. Certainly from a nutritional standpoint, it can be very helpful. I'm just wondering if you actually have some other type of evidence for specific disease states with spirulina.
So spirulina itself is not the cure. Spirulina is the host, similar to how we use CHO, E. coli, or yeast to produce proteins and small molecules today. Spirulina is the fourth host in that matter. So we can produce any number of protein therapeutics as well as small molecules. We do today. We have multiple cleared INDs with the FDA, as well as multiple clinical trials that have taken place so far.
Thank you. That's a great explanation.
Thank you.
Cole, our team had a question for you. Spirulina and Lumen has already a great marketplace on Earth. What made you want to expand to the space application side for your product?
We all have read too many sci-fi novels as children. And also we believe that this solution is a sustainable supply of oxygen. It's also a great nutrition superfood. And being able to produce any therapeutic real time is necessary. If you're on Mars, if you're Mark Watney, you want to be able to make a drug right away when you need it. And you can't send every single drug up to Mars, right? You need to just be able to produce it real time. So that's our goal.
Okay, we're going to fit in one more question from Anjali.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask, how do you plan to translate your technology from Earth-based to a weightless environment technology?
It's a great question. So we have a collaboration multi-year with Google, where we've optimized the manufacturing process under multiple different conditions. The photo that you saw is hundreds of small scale reactors working. We'd like to test zero G, and we've also already enlisted Google for this help to optimize the zero G manufacturing processes. There's a lot of little tweaks we can make, but you don't know until you get up there.
All right, thank you again, Cole, for your presentation and your participation in the Humans in Space Challenge. See you around, good luck. All right, folks, we're going to take another break from the pitches to invite another 2022 Care in Space alumni to the stage. His company, X-Story, is enhancing human performance through extended reality and interactive storytelling to help professionals working in highly stressful and psychologically challenging environments like space. Roger will share his experience with the Care in Space Challenge, now Humans in Space Challenge, and how it has helped him to create traction for his product and really helped him to develop his business launch in terms of space application. Please welcome Roger Diaz, winner of the 2022 Care in Space Challenge.
Hello everyone, my name is Roger Diaz and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Xstory. Our team at Xstory had the great pleasure and honor of participating in the first cohort of the Human in Space, former Care in Space program in 2022. Xstory is a generative AI platform that makes it easier, faster and cheaper to create interactive 3D experiences. Our story started through a NASA and Trish research grant at Harvard, aiming to develop immersive training and real-time decision support for astronauts during deep space missions. The Human in Space program played a pivotal role in Xstory growth and advancement. First, we gained valuable insights into the space ecosystem and market. Second, we built important connections with other founders, space stakeholders, and investors. The seed funding supported our technology development, moving Xstory from an MVP to our current alpha stage. Finally, we learned incredible lessons and feedback on how to present our technology to a space audience. As we look into the future, we see the integration of artificial intelligence and extended reality unlocking a full range of capabilities and solutions to solve and mitigate the big challenges of space explorations. As an alumni of the Human Space Program and through a partnership with Boeing, Xstory is moving the needle on the space technology and its application to make healthcare in space a reality.
All right, thank you for sharing your experience and insights, Roger. It's clear that you made a positive impact to the 2023 semifinalists of the Humans in Space Challenge, and we're also very lucky to have you as one of our valued partners. All right, let's keep it moving. We're down to the last 5 startups for today: Spacebox, Odyssey Spaceworks, ResearchSat, Mutagen Tech will share about their services dealing with bio R&D platform, and Optimi will conclude today's event with their pitch relating to data and analytics. All right, let's get straight into our 16th pitch of today, Spacebox. Spacebox offers fully reliable, automized, and ready-to-use laboratories on self-produced nanosatellites for biotech and biopharmaceutical research in space. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Yaroslav, CEO of the company, to deliver his pitch.
Yeah, thanks a lot, David. I'll start right ahead. So our mission is to allow anyone to do biomedical sciences in microgravity. Spacebox harnesses this potential for groundbreaking discoveries in drug design and disease modeling with our user-friendly, fully automated mini labs. The cost for biological research in the low Earth orbit is still too high. And what's more is I have spoken to dozens of scientists worldwide. They all say that sometimes, unfortunately, astronauts fail the experiments. They're sometimes not limited. Their time is limited, and they are simply not trained for the specific methods, such as growing your delicate cells accurately. So our solution is Spacebox Mini Lab, which is fully automated mini lab, which allows us to be not only 5 times cheaper than the competitors, but also elevate the data quality and solve the data reproducibility problem. Our secret sauce is an artificial intelligence trained on the previous missions that allows scientists to select the protocols in an easy way, and then the mini lab performs represented here, performs the whole research pipeline from end to end in a plug and play simplicity. So we address $2 billion opportunities that is about to reach $3 billion in 2026. And of course, we are going to the broader market of biopharmaceuticals R&D. We are focusing on the private companies, medical centers, and corporations, starting from the preclinical studies and scaling up to organoid research. So we so far have performed 3 successful space missions, raised $300,000 as grant investments, and most of it was dedicated to the nanosatellite platform development, which has reached the final technology readiness level. At this time, we are finalizing our mini lab MVP, which allows us to secure the next customer acquisition as we show our proof of concept, do the first pre-sales, and develop and launch our first commercial mission in 2025. And then the set stage for the next investments that allows us to scale up our R&D and do the first sales. So this is our competitor landscapes. As we are fully autonomous, it allows us to be not only cost efficient, but also less reliable on the astronauts. Our business model is space mission as end-to-end service. So we provide in the whole process from your idea to launching it to space that can be up to $1.5 million. This is our managing team comprising of scientists, experts in business development, law, nanosatellite development, and first people who provided the nanosatellites in Ukraine overall. So this is our advisory board from the Yale University postdocs and graduates. And together we open affordable access to biotech in space, resolving the biggest biomedical challenges and bringing value to billions of people. Thank you.
Thank you for that wonderful pitch, Yaroslav. We'll go right ahead and get into the Q&A session. Judges, the floor is open to you. Dr. Angeli.
Great presentation. Thank you for sharing. Can you tell us a little bit more about your mini lab? What are the capabilities? What does it do? What do you exactly mean by end-to-end?
Yeah, thank you. So our services starts from the idea of the researchers. We help to shape it and do the whole assessment of what are biomedical compounds that we can use in the microgravity research, because not all of them can be used. And then we start the full mission preparation and then launch it into space and produce the data as our dashboards. So basically researchers can see the data in an easy way. The mini lab is based right now on a cell cultivation chamber. Then we are going to produce the first MVP of cell passaging, the automated cell passaging, and do the biochemical assay at the end. So we are aiming at the measuring the ATP production in the cells, and at the same time do the lysis of the cells and RNA bulk analysis.
And sorry, and what do you mean by RNA bulk analysis?
So basically we lysate our cells, get the RNA, and then as soon as a payload gets on the Earth, we can do the full sequencing of the RNA.
Okay, great.
I think Daniel also has a question. Daniel.
So the larger question is, who are your ideal researchers? Is it primarily cell cultivation researchers, or are there other types that would benefit from the space box?
So at this point, we have some customers from Ukraine, and also we are aiming to go into the European market, and we already identified several potential customers here. We've spoken with them, but haven't signed the letters of intent yet. We are about to do it in the next months. And those are people who are doing cell biology analysis based on cancer therapy. So we are focusing on cancer cells.
We're going to fit in one more question. Ask Seth if you have a quick question.
Sure. Thank you very much for the presentation. What do you think would be the limitations of your box compared to standard tests?
Thanks. That's a great question. As our mini lab is a mid-deck locker size and it is compatible with all of the service providers, I think this will allow us to be at the edge of the market. And our limitation is that we cannot do the whole pipeline of the research. However, we are focusing on several identified already on our first clients' services. So we are about to scale up to the organoid research later on.
All right, thank you, Yaroslav, for your presentation and your participation in today's event. Good luck to you. We'll see you around.
Thanks a lot.
Right, for our next contestant, Odyssey Spaceworks. Odyssey Spaceworks builds and operates small satellites with programmable labs in LEO space for biopharmaceutical R&D. Please welcome Shashir Bankapour, CEO of Odyssey, to the stage, and he will share about the unique services that his company offers.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shashir Bankapour. I'm the founder and CEO of Odyssey Spaceworks. Odyssey builds and operates small satellites with automated labs for iterative R&D. We enable researchers to conduct rapid and reproducible biological studies. And the reproducibility is key to rely on these observations for health outcomes, both on Earth and in space, and rapid because we can go from idea to orbit in as little as 3 months. Lumen Bioscience, in one of their pitches, they just said, a little while ago, you don't know until you get up there. And that's really where we sit, is for any manufacturing in space or any proving ground in space, you need to understand automation and the environment. And we are that platform. Our platform allows researchers to do 2 things. One is to use space to ensure human health and ensure human health in space. And this is driven by the need to keep thousands of spacefarers safe in the coming decades. Our standardized automated biolabs are targeting customers in the cancer therapeutic research, remote diagnostics, and drug safety. And all of those markets combined make about $38 billion. Our patented lab innovations can help shorten the 23,000 active cancer studies that are happening right now. We can grow a higher fidelity organoid or a tumor model, manipulate and isolate environmental factors, and thus introduce reproducibility, and at times even force evolution, especially for microbes that produce biologics. All of this makes it a very flexible and adaptable platform, especially as you get near real-time control on your experiments, and making it as simple as merely logging on to a website. We started in October 2022, found our first few customers, raised a seed round, and our first satellite is actually going to orbit in November 2023, in about a year of operating. And we have 2 additional satellites with real customers planned for 2024. Our first sat is carrying Kaplan Lab from Tufts University and physical synthesis. Tufts is growing animal muscle tissue organoids. Physical synthesis is proving out their sensor suite, and we make money by charging per lab module, and each satellite contains multiple lab modules. We are a multidisciplinary team that have expertise in biotech, astrobiology, pharma, but also engineering across the aerospace industry. We've launched with NASA and Blue Origin previously in previous roles, and that's us. And we're effectively allowing researchers to simply ask a question and use our hardware to get out an answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shashir, for the amazing pitch. Judges, if you have any questions for Shashir, please go ahead. Dr. Angelique.
Hi, thank you. This was great. Can you talk about scale up? Like, how do you address that scale up problem?
Yeah. Are you talking specifically on manufacturing scale up, or are you talking how do we scale up as a company?
Yeah, how do you scale up as a company?
Got it. Yeah, so we look at our customers who are targeting either therapeutics or materials for manufacturing. So we work with them across the stage gates. So we start with just rapid R&D just to understand what the environment is, then go into more specifics and get right up to, say, stage 4 of the manufacturing process, where they would likely work with someone like Axiom to actually take it to full scale manufacturing in space. So from there until the large scale commercial manufacturing process, our plan is to both launch multiple satellites and launch fleets of satellites, and that's planned for 2025, where likely we'll have about 6 to 8 in orbit at the same time, each one with multiple lab modules, and you can combine them. Our biggest satellite that we're planning is can take about 12 lab modules, so we can get that reproducibility and effectively launch more and as a fleet effectively.
And is this being launched to a commercial destination or the International Space Station, or are these free flyers?
These are free flyers. So we're licensed by the FCC to operate commercial satellites.
I think we have one more question from Asaf. Asaf, did you have a question in mind?
Thank you for your presentation. I understand, so the free flyers, if that's for manufacturing and not only research, how will the product be returned to Earth?
So it is to understand the environment for manufacturing right now. So we're targeting understanding the environment, understanding the materials, understanding the automation, all of which is necessary before you actually, do commercial scale manufacture. So we can take all the tools and sensors that are needed to understand the quality in orbit for in-orbit demonstration. So we don't return anything just yet. But again, that's an engineering challenge, further down the line that we plan to tackle and or work with partners who can do mass return.
All right, thank you for your wonderful pitch and your participation in the Humans in Space Challenge. Good luck. We'll see you next time. All right, moving on to our next pitch, Research Set. Research Set provides customized satellite platforms for conducting microbiology, protein crystallization, 3D cell research, and drug delivery experiments by working with clients to design, implement, and analyze the experiments. Please welcome Ravi Teja Dugineni, CEO of the company, to explain a little more about this company.
In recent years, space became more accessible with the promise in space tourism and deep space missions. The dream of colonization is becoming more tangible. But it gives a challenge. The space environment amplifies the bacterial resistance, posing a secret threat to astronauts' health. Understanding and combating this AMR, antimicrobial resistance, isn't just crucial for space, it is vital for global health care on Earth too. Space provides a unique microgravity environment that intensifies the bacterial resistance, where it provides the unparalleled insights into the antimicrobial resistance. Our past mission shows the evidence for this unparalleled insights, where last year we sent a space microbiology mission into a suborbital mission for 6 minutes of microgravity, where the yeast grown 4 times more. But David, I'm having trouble with the controls here. I'm using a dual screen. Can I switch the screens again?
Sorry, Ravi, what was that?
I'm having trouble with changing the slides.
He's having trouble with controls. You're having trouble with controlling the slide?
Yeah. Okay. I will go once again.
Ravi, did you want to try start again from the beginning? Your audio quality is kind of on the low side also. I think it's your Bluetooth headphones. That might be the issue. So did you want to connect to your laptops or use a different mic to do your presentation? We'll give you your 3 minutes back because the judges, I think they had a hard time hearing you. So would you like to go again from the beginning?
Yeah, that would be great. I will remove my Bluetooth headphones and I will have one more run on it.
Okay, we will come back to you at the end of the session after Optimi. So try to regather yourself, take off your Bluetooth headphones, and we'll come back to you.
Thank you, David. Sorry for the inconvenience.
All right. Thank you, judges, for being patient. We're going to move on to the next pitch first. Mutagen Tech. Mutagen Tech develops the most precise, error-corrected next-generation sequencing platform for detecting rare somatic mutational variants in the DNA. Please welcome Chris Bradley, CEO of Mutagen Tech, as he executes his pitch.
Hi, everyone. It's great to meet you. Thank you for taking the time. So we're Mutagen Tech, and we are an ultra-high resolution sequencing provider. So as we've heard already today, space is a highly damaging and dangerous environment, specifically around radiation and cancer risk. So we know that there's DNA damage and DNA mutation that's coming out of exposure to space. The issue is, how do you measure that and actually understand specifically what the risk is and what's actually happening to the DNA? And so in order to do that, you're going to need a form of sequencing that hasn't existed until now. So what we have is a new form of sequencing that is just published out of one of the top sequencing labs in the United States. And it allows us to actually see on a single cell level which parts of the DNA have been changed or mutated due to exposure to various external and internal factors. It could be space, radiation, genotoxic agents, mutagenic agents, etc. And so this has obviously lots of applications in both space for exposure and optimization of risk management, as well as on Earth to detect both the causes of mutation and their consequences. And just this is obviously could be a whole talk unto itself. We have an actually different technique that allows us to see this level of detail in the genome, and it's brand new, and I can speak to that in the questions if needed. So how does this work? Well, we are a white glove service, so you can send us samples or DNA, and we handle everything. We process the samples using our own technology. We then sequence those samples using standard sequencing technology. So we basically are able to augment existing sequencing approaches. We do bioinformatic analysis, and we then give you the results. So it's very easy and turnkey. This is not only useful for space-based applications, but we are already servicing mutagenesis and genotoxicology clients, as well as fertility clients. So basically all areas where the effects of these mutations are critical to health and safety. And we're looking to then expand to more regulated areas like cancer detection, radiation and exposure detection, and of course, space. As I mentioned, we're the best in class at this approach. So here at the bottom, you have your general next generation sequencing. There's been other technologies trying to get error corrected information, trying to increase the resolution of sequencing. And we are head and shoulders above the rest, both with our approach to it, as well as our coverage of the genome and the types of mutations we can see. So both point mutations and structural variants, which effectively cover all types of mutations in the genome. We have a lot of top clients, and we're both profitable now and looking to expand in the future rapidly. So it's a functioning business. And we have a top team, which I can speak to, of bioinformatics experts and genomics experts. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Chris, for the beautiful presentation. We're gonna hand it over to the judges for the Q&A session. I see Asaf's hand is up. So Asaf, did you have a question in mind?
Yeah, thank you for your presentation, very impressive. Could you please elaborate if the process can be done in space? Is it a toxic process, or is it already designed for space?
Not at the moment. So right now, there's nothing saying we couldn't do this technology or this approach in space, but this would be more about understanding the effects of space. And so you would do this here on Earth and expose before and after control samples to say, hey, what is the effect of the damage and of the mutation due to samples or people being up in space? So it doesn't have to happen in space for this to be, useful.
I think Dr. Danielle had a question earlier, or did Chris's answer your question?
Mine was actually answered. I had a similar question. How would you get the samples up and down? But it sounds like you're doing pre-processing and post-processing, not anything in space. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right. Now, it's worth mentioning the procedure we use to get this error-corrected data is able to be done with liquid handling. So I think with some of the other startups that we've seen today, it could be done in space, but as of now, no need for the basic use case.
All right, I think that is all for the Q&A session. Oh, sorry, Dr. Sawyer, did you have a question?
Oh, thank you. I had a quick one. What is the turnaround time for your samples? Because one of the frustrations, even terrestrially, is that we just have super long delays in getting these genomic studies back.
Yeah, so we're targeting around 3 weeks turnaround time from start to finish. It could vary depending on the complexity to 4 or 5 weeks, but a lot of that we're optimizing for. So I think that's on the larger end. But in theory, the processing itself takes about a day. And most of that turnaround is just sequencing, which can take upwards of a week or two. So yeah, definitely fast.
All right, thank you, Chris, again for your amazing presentation and your participation in today's event. We'll see you around. Good luck. All right, we are going to move on to Optimi. It's my pleasure to introduce Optimi. They characterize models of human stress level response for professionals often exposed to stressful situations through learning ML methods. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Adam Trucka to the stage as he delivers his pitch.
Okie doke. So, hello everybody. I'll be speaking to you about Icarus Armor, which is a human error and cognitive error management system. Here you can see one of our team members in doing some field testing in Antarctica station. We'll get back to that in a little bit. So what are we tackling? We're essentially tackling the fact that future missions, and we've had this mentioned here before, we're going to have a really wide variety of crew members. So not just people who've been trained for years to deal with missions. And most likely, if you're not going up into space for 30 minutes just to have a quick look, you're going to be integrated into a schedule that looks something like this, which is off of the ISS. And, that can be quite stressful. So I don't know if any of you have seen this article. The first time I saw it, I had a bit of a chuckle thing. Look at the rich space tourists, they couldn't handle the stress up there. But then fundamentally, if we think about it, if any of us on this call go to space and we get integrated into those crews, we're going to have a hard time dealing with all of the activities and all of the stress that is going to be associated with that. So what does it come down to? It doesn't, age isn't the main factor for determining your ability to cope with stress. There's a wide variety of genetic predispositions, but ultimately, everybody's going to have a different stress profile, right? Some people you probably know are incredibly resilient. They never stress. And I'm sure you guys know other people who panic the moment they're challenged. So the thing that we focus on the most is heat stress. The amount of heat that's put out by your body, but also how your body copes with it. So let's see. So on Earth, you can imagine a couple of scenarios. So imagine, people in hazmat suits administering COVID-19 vaccines for 16 hours on end. What are the errors they're going to make after that 17th hour? Very synonymous is people in enclosed spaces, cockpits, submarines, of course, analogs. But then every day you see probably is firefighters. Those are the ideal thing, or that literally everybody has seen cope with a huge amount of heat stress. And of course, there are users on the world, well, in space. If you imagine astronauts literally being roasted by the sun, they're going to have an incredible amount of heat stress put onto them. So I'm not going to talk a lot about the market because we don't really have time for that. But essentially, our target audiences or our target user groups are doctors, police officers, firefighters, and then to a certain extent, pilots, because they all fit in basically essentially with these categories. But essentially, it comes down to the fact that you're going to have people who make cognitive errors are going to be incredibly costly. And this is what our system aims to prevent. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit just quickly about business and traction. So as I mentioned before, we've done field testing in Antarctica with some related hardware. That was a really fun mission. We have a lot of good data from that. But ultimately, we're actually going to be testing with ESA astronauts. And we're really proud about that because originally when we kicked off these projects, they weren't planned at all. It's something that they came to us after the fact, after we demonstrated what we're capable of, and we're going to be measuring them by the end of this year. So just quickly looking at competitor landscapes, there's some really beautiful consumer level products. And the idea is consumer level, not professional. I'm wearing one right now. I'm sure I'll have fun time measuring my stress after this session. But essentially, they all usually target generic stress. So it means looking at your heart rate variability and what that does. So our secret sauce is, of course, we put you in a lab, we do cognitive testing, and then we extract from that your particular.
Thank you, Adam, for your pitch. Unfortunately, the time is up, but you will have your chance to explain more during the Q&A session. Judges, if you have any questions for Adam, please ask away. Asaf, did you have any questions?
Yeah, well, what do you measure?
Sure. So
and thank you, of course, for your presentation. Sorry about that.
So look, what I want to stress is because we're actually hardware agnostic, we can measure almost any kind of biosignal. So for example, we've seen some amazing sensors here today. To me, they're just another input into my digital model. So whether it's brain patterns or your VO2 max, we typically measure all the parts on your body that generate heat, but also things like skin conductivity and any kind of things that we can attach to your body. So ultimately, what you get is a digital twin, right? So no matter what sensors you add on or remove, we put that into the digital twin to make a more accurate stress model for you.
Dr. Sawyer, do you have a question too?
Yeah, thank you. Sorry if I'm just not quite getting it.
Sure.
You're talking about heat, and
Yes.
I don't know if you're talking about skin or core temperature or other variables that you're putting into some sort of a formula that you're calling heat that's relevant to some condition, because it's a little puzzling. It looked like a very elaborate suite of sensors, which could add stress, basically. I'm thinking if you could boil it down to what is it you're measuring when you say that heat stress is the most important thing?
So what comes down to is we measure your cognitive error rate, right? So as temperature goes up, you can imagine doing the same thing. If your body is overloaded or overheated, eventually that's going to go into your cognitive performance. Your brain overheats, right? So that's why we're measuring. Everybody has different areas that somebody will sweat more in their hands, somebody will sweat more in their armpits, and ultimately everybody's going to try to expose that heat or expunge that heat in a different way. But again, we're looking at cognitive performance, and exactly like when people get hotter and hotter, including in spacesuits or in other enclosures, we can then warn when their cognitive ability degrades. So that's what we're kind of aiming to provide as a service.
Hopefully you'll find a single or a surrogate location that will correlate most closely with cognitive decline, so that you can create a more simple, elegant solution than the suite.
Oh.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Adam, for the wonderful presentation. You were originally the last presentation on the list, but we have Ravi that's going to come up on stage once again. We're going to give him another chance. Please invite Ravi to the stage as he introduces his company, Research Sat.
My apologies, guys. It's 3 a.m. here, so a bit tired and all over the places. And now the technical difficulties, it happened to me. Going once again, in recent years, the space became more accessible with a promising space tourism and deep space missions. The dream of colonization is becoming more tangible, but it also gives us a challenge. The space environment amplifies the bacterial resistance, posing a serious threat to astronauts and space tourists. Understanding and combating this AMR is not only crucial to space, but also very vital for the global health here on Earth. Space provides a unique microgravity environment that intensifies the microbial behavior, which gives unparalleled insights and magnified insights into antimicrobial resistance, which is evident from our last mission. We believe that space holds the key innovative solutions on a global AMR crisis. which is set to surpass $24 billion by 2030. In global AMR context, space AMR is lying in an intersection of global health need and the alluring space exploration, positioning it as a market with a sustainable growth potential, where on one side we are solving the health crisis, the other side is an exciting adventure. Coming to our company, we spun our company out of our masters in 2018, and for the next 3 years, bootstrapped it, developing core technologies for AMR, and we secured our first client in 2021. Yeah, that's working. 2021, and we had a successful mission in 2022, and we acquired an atmospheric launch company for rapid prototyping and testing purposes. And recently we signed 2 private companies for our next mission that is happening in February next year. Moving forward, in 2024, we are in development of a space AMR research satellite to test this new antibacterial virulence and resistance mechanisms in space. And 2025, we aim to build our first space bioreactor for the specific purposes of AMR. And by 2030, we want to build a mutated cell bank for drug discovery research purposes, and with a plan to exit in 2040. Are we the only ones doing this? Not exactly, but given this market infancy, we believe that the competitors, the other companies are not as competitors, but collaborators. The technology we developed in AMR can be integrated with their technologies to provide a better health solutions. Coming to our business model, we had a dual front models for services and royalties, IP licensings. It is estimated that we will be having 5.27 annual revenue in service contracts, and on the royalties with the 3% on drag.
All right, Ravi, thank you for your presentation. Unfortunately, the time is up. We're sorry we couldn't accommodate the time zone, the proper time zone for everyone. It's also approaching 3 a.m. here, but it was really difficult to try to fit in the time for about 6 time zones. So we apologize for that, but thank you for your presentation. That was a beautiful presentation. Let's see if the judges have any questions for you. Dr. Anjali, did you have a question in mind?
Yes. Hi, Ravi. Thank you for that presentation. Can you tell us a little bit more about your module, like kind of the form factor, the size, and its capabilities? You mentioned quite a few competitors, but how do you said they're more collaborators. So what exactly are you aiming to achieve with your module?
So that is diving deep into the technologies. Thank you for the question, Anjali. Coming to the answer, we have the technologies like a rapid freezing and rapid heating up the systems of our microfluidic chips to host the cells and to freeze the cells and to defreeze the cells for them to preserve those biomarkers in the space and to bring them back. Last year, we ran our mission in a suborbital mission for 6 minutes of microgravity, which has happened in one new system, which has 3 experiments in it in 2 modules. One is the fluidic platform, where we demonstrated the double emulsion. And in the other module is a space incubator module, where we hosted yeast cells and also plant spores. And in the yeast cells, we observed there is a 4 times more population, but at the same time, the cells has decreased. And interestingly, we found biofilm, which is not observed on the Earth parallel experiment. So those are some technologies. On the microscope side, which is very challenging to find and to magnify to collect the real-time data, we currently in the development of fiber optic based lens, which was used in the mechanical places to search for the cracks. We are using and repurposing that technology in order to get like a 3D surrounded view of the cells within the microfluidic chip. And with the microfluidic chip, we have the technology where we can able to test different concentration of antibiotics at a different concentration on different population levels of microbes.
All right, thank you, Ravi, for once again your amazing presentation. We're sorry that these technical difficulties happened during your pitch, but we will try to evaluate your pitch different from your technical difficulties. All right, everyone, that was the last startup pitch of the Humans in Space virtual finalist selection. Since the initial Humans in Space Challenge applications launched, I was amazed by all the creative and innovative services and products that companies offered. Today, I stand in front of the semi-finalists of the challenge, hoping to one day change the future of humanity in space. I'm just in awe of how passionate and well-driven you all are. Just like you, the Humans in Space initiative will never stop paving the road for interplanetary well-being. Our vision to shape the future of humanity in space stands as an everlasting beacon. It is a true privilege to witness individuals of such caliber, including our esteemed judges here tonight, and the semi-finalists gathered here today embark with us on this extraordinary journey. Please don't go anywhere just yet. Before we wrap up, I want to hand over the mic to Stella, our communications manager here at Boreum, to give you some information about the remaining agenda of the Humans in Space program, including the finalist announcement. Stella, you're on.
Hello everyone, my name is Stella and I'm a communications manager here at Boreum. And I'm happy to provide you with some information regarding the remaining agenda of the Humans in Space initiative. But before that, I want to congratulate everyone here for making it this far and also completing the semi-finalist round of the Humans in Space Challenge. I was very impressed today with all the groundbreaking ideas and innovative solutions that could enhance Earth space exploration while utilizing the unique space environment to address healthcare challenges on Earth. I think we have three main agenda left for the HIS initiative. Firstly, our panel of experts and the HIS team will carefully complete the evaluations for your live pitch today and announce the finalists of the challenge on September 26th. When the finalists have been announced, we will require them to mandatorily attend in the HIS Space Expansion Program a series of workshops and mentorship sessions focused on improving your ideas for space exploration or utilization, and to better prepare you for the final round of the challenge at the Humans in Space Symposium. Speaking of which, the AIAA Symposium will be co-located with Ascend this year at Caesars Forum, Las Vegas, and the HIS finalists will receive the chance to pitch their ideas and interact with thousands of space investors, professionals, and enthusiasts. And this prestigious event will also be where the winners of the 2023 HIS Challenge will be selected. So if you have any questions, please feel free to send them over to careinspace@boreum.com and visit our website, www.careinspace.com, to learn more about Humans in Space and the relevant programs. Furthermore, we encourage you to follow our social handles, including LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook, to stay updated on our key announcements and events. Now I'll pass on to David to wrap up our pitch session today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up the 2023 Humans in Space virtual finalist selection. For that, Konu, if you could put the judges on gallery mode. I want to thank all of our judges for their time today, joining us in selecting the finalists of the Humans in Space Challenge. Thank you truly for all your insights and expertise. You have really challenged both us and the startups here today, and we deeply appreciate your presence here today. All right, thank you everyone once again for joining us. I hope you all have a great day ahead, and we'll see you at the Humans in Space Symposium. Goodbye, everyone.